Germany just announced a major reform package, and this involves taxes, sick leave, work contracts, and even how easy it could become for high earners to lose their jobs. So let's go through the most important points, starting with tax relief. From January 1st, 2027, the government wants to reduce the tax burden for low and medium income households. The basic tax-free allowance, the child tax allowance, child benefit, and the employee lump sum allowance are supposed to be increased. In simple words, many normal employees and families should keep a bit more of their income. The reform package says that a working family with 2 children and a taxable income of around 60,000 euros could save up to 600 euros per year. Now 600 euros per year is not a life-changing amount, but with groceries, rent and the occasional shock from your Nebenkostenabrechnung, 600 euros is still 600 euros. High income earners will pay more. To partly finance this tax relief, the government wants to increase taxes for very high earners. Currently, Germany already has a top tax bracket of 45% for very high earners. But under the new plan, the top rate would be split. Taxable income from 250,000 euros would be taxed at 45%. But income above 280,000 euros would be taxed at 47%. And just to be clear, this is still income tax. It's not a real wealth tax on your assets. So if you have 300,000 euros invested, this does not mean new taxes on that under this proposal. It is about very high annual income. Also, there is no planned increase in inheritance tax and no reintroduction of a separate wealth tax. Sick notes by phone are expected to end. At the moment, in some cases, you can get a sick note by phone. This was originally introduced during the pandemic and later made permanent to reduce pressure on doctors' offices. But the new plan is to abolish sick notes by phone. In future, patients would need to visit a doctor in person to get a certificate of incapacity or a sick note. And the sick note would have to be submitted from the first day of illness. Now I know what some of you are thinking. So if I have a fever, a cough, and I feel like a boiled potato, I should first go and sit in the waiting room with 12 other sick people. The current answer is yes. At least that is the direction of the reform. The government also wants stricter penalties for incorrect sick leave certificates. So this is clearly aimed at reducing misuse of sick leaves. But for genuinely sick people, it could mean more hassle. There has been a lot of backlash on this topic over the past few days. And honestly speaking, I don't think this reform would be accepted as is. Mini jobs may become less attractive. The flat rate tax on mini jobs is planned to increase from 2% to 5%. There is still open discussion about pension contributions for mini jobs. The Pension Commission had suggested that mini jobs should also pay into statutory pension insurance without an opt-out option, except for school students. That part is not decided yet, but it matters because mini jobs are very common in Germany. For students, spouses, retirees, people doing side work, or people trying to earn an extra bit. If contributions increase, then the big question becomes, does the employee get less money? Does the employer pay more? Or does the whole structure become less attractive? We don't have the answer yet, but mini jobs are definitely on the reform radar. Fixed term contracts could become longer. Currently, employers can usually hire someone on a fixed term contract without a specific reason for up to 2 years with limited extensions. Under the new plan, fixed term contracts without objective justification could be allowed for up to 48 months and up to 6 extensions would be possible. This would apply to employees hired by December 31st, 2030. The government's argument is flexibility for the labor market. But from the employee side, this is not good news at all. Because fixed term contracts already create uncertainty. Try finding an apartment in Germany with a temporary work contract. The landlord looks at you like you just submitted a job application to live in his basement. So yes, this may help some companies hire more flexibly, but for employees, especially expat, who already deal with visa issues, housing issues, and financial planning uncertainty, this could be a huge problem. Please hit the like button if you're getting value from this video and let me know in the comments if the current policies are making you rethink your future in Germany. High earners may get less dismissal protection. From 2027, it could become easier for employers to terminate the contracts of high-income employees with a severance pay option. This would apply to employees earning at least 1.75 times the pension contribution assessment ceiling. Based on current numbers, that would be close to 180,000 euros gross salary per year. So this does not affect the normal or average employee, but it does matter for senior managers, executives, high-paid specialists, and people in very high income roles. The idea is to make the labor market more flexible, and if someone quickly finds a new job, taxes on severance payments may be reduced. So if you are a very high earner, you may get money to leave, but maybe less protection to stay. Changes for bureaucracy and business. The government wants to reduce reporting obligations. Documentation requirements are supposed to be reviewed with the goal of eliminating 1 in 4 within 1 year. Tax returns are also supposed to become simpler. One idea is an automatically pre-filled digital tax return, and tax offices should issue tax identification numbers to companies within a maximum of 4 weeks. Anyone who has opened a business, waited for a tax number, dealt with paper letters, or tried to understand why something cannot be emailed because that is not possible knows exactly what I mean. If these simplifications actually happen, this could be one of the more practical parts of this reform. Pension changes. The government wants to move ahead with the pension reform package, which is based on the expert commission's recommendations. And the timeline is very important here. A legislative package is expected to be passed by the Bundestag by the end of 2026. Some of the ideas being discussed are linking retirement age to life expectancy, changing early retirement rules, investing part of pension funds in capital markets, and requiring freelancers to contribute to the statutory pension system. Not all of this is final law yet. So what does all of this mean for you? If you are a regular employee or a family with children, you may see some tax relief from 2027 onwards. If you are a high income earner, you may pay more tax above certain income level. If you have a mini job, the tax and pension treatment may change. But for most regular employees, fixed term contracts could become longer, which may mean less job security. And if you are sick, getting a sick note could become less convenient again. So basically, Germany is trying to do 3 things at the same time. Give some relief to workers and families, make the labor market and bureaucracy more flexible, and somehow protect the welfare state, especially pensions. This is a very difficult balancing act, and as always in Germany, the announcement is just the beginning. The real question is what actually becomes law, when it starts, and how it affects your monthly net income, your job security, and your retirement planning. If you ask my honest opinion, the government is trying to do too much at the same time. Tough decisions are necessary, but the execution is not great at the moment. And I think if they do not deliver big wins for normal people in the next few months, I don't think the current government will survive by the end of 2027. It's not all bad though, as the new rental law package has some good initiatives for regular people. I've shared more details in this video, and in this video I share why the new Schufa score exposes a big problem for expats in Germany.